Welcome to the Dripping in Black podcast for our monthly Creators Drip. We celebrate Black excellence, Black creativity, and Black culture. Here are our creators, David V. Lewis and Shawn Smith.
What's up, good people all across the world? This is the Dripping in Black podcast. I am your host, David V. Lewis. And per usual, we have another fantastic lineup for you. This is the Creators Drip. The lineup consists of myself and the behind the scenes mastermind S Squared. S Squared, Shawn Smith, say hello to the world.
Hello world, how are you doing? Hope you keep it warm because it's freezing in Michigan.
So I switched up calling him a guest. I don't know if our audience has been following us. He's been jumping on me every time I call him a guest. So I just called it a lineup. So this is our Creators Drip. It's a different take than we normally do for our podcast. It's for several reasons. One of those is to kind of break the monotony up of having a guest on. And another thing is we thought it would be good for the audience to learn a little bit about the creators. And so this is our fourth version of the Creators Drip. And we want to start revealing a little bit more about ourselves. And so we thought it'd be good to start off before we get into our segments, talking a little bit about ourselves and teaching our audience about the creators of the Dripping in Black podcast. So the question that I'm going to pose is, me and Shawn, we're both teachers, or I should say Shawn and I in that sentence. Shawn and I are both teachers.
We're educators.
Yeah, teachers, educators. We could get into that conversation probably in the other podcast that Shawn's got brewing. There's definitely a distinction for us, but we're both in the field of education. Shawn is in math, I'm in social studies. And that's kind of how that is actually how we came to know one another. So I thought it would be interesting for the audience to learn about the thing that sparked us into this field. So I'm gonna toss it over to my partner, S Squared. Tell the world about what got you started in education.
I'm going to try to make this as quick because this is definitely one of the first spiritual awakenings that I had. That's how deep it was. I was a senior at Pontiac Northern, go Huskies. And I had a friend, I ain't gonna put the name out, but I had a friend that was struggling in math. And this friend came to me and asked, can I help him with math? I said, all right, man, I'll help you. You just ain't doing your homework. That's what the problem is, but okay, I'll help you. So we went, I went over, he came over and I tutored and stuff like that. And when we got the test back, he did well. I said, man, that feels good. That's good. As long as he didn't do as well as I did, but he did well, keep the people off his back anyway. And I said, I could probably do this teaching thing, but nah, it don't make no money. So let me go do my computer science like I planned on it. Skip a few years on the campus of Michigan State University. Go green. Go green.
Go blue.
I'm in a lab. I'm a computer science major. And I'm in the lab and I'm sitting back in this chair and I'm frustrated over this program. And I was listening to the conversations in the lab. And they were talking about computer chips and stuff like I would talk about sports and women or something like that. I said, man, I don't even want to know that much about that stuff to be that thing. And I went back to that feeling in my senior year and said, maybe I need to do this teacher thing. Now, it's some other things, church as well. I started being active in the church, and I was a band director. I got a little band together. Shout out to Dr. Spradlin, because that's where I got my start. I got to direct a little band with the church members that had instruments and stuff. And that next day, I went and I switched my major and my minor. My minor was mathematics, so I switched that to my major, and I said I'll go into math education. And my computer science became my minor. Got all my credits on that one, so I'm good. So I just had to wait. I had to wait a semester to get into the College of Education. That's how the process was. But that's how I got into teaching, and I've been an educator. I've been fulfilling my calling ever since.
Wow. That's great. Part of I think what I enjoy about the Creators Drip is, Shawn and I have been knowing each other for a while now, over a decade. And I feel like I get a lot of stories that I haven't heard through the Creators Drip. So that's quite the story.
That's why you created, man. So that's the only time I'll talk about that type of stuff. Okay, I got you, man. That's how,
get him on camera. He starts with telling all kind of stories. So,
I guess. Maybe it's the light. Maybe it's the lights. I think I'm being interrogated because a bunch of lights in my little makeshift studio.
Yeah. So for me, my response to the question about what got me into education, it's a little different. My mind went somewhere else, Shawn, when you started talking about sitting in that class and saying, I don't want to know as much about this ever. And, for me, I don't know if I told you this before, but I was a pretty good math student in high school. And by the time I decided to teach, math didn't cross my mind. But math was one of those subjects that I was successful at, but I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know that much about math when they started getting into imaginary numbers and stuff like that. I was like, okay, I understand the concept, but I don't want to be able to know it that well. It's almost a bridge too far. You go that far, you might not come back. So in my high school years, I've said this a couple of times on a few episodes. I was actually rapping, and I go way back to the 80s. It was 87 when I graduated. So I was probably rapping in 85, 86, 87. And, I had a few issues in high school. I got into an incident in my in my junior year, and I got transferred out of my school at Osborne. And I got put over into Murray Wright. And, when I got there, I'm trying to find the short version of the story. But when I got there, I was impressed by the high school counselor. Because we had I have a brother that's a year older than me. Well, he's since passed, but we were at high school together. He was a senior and I was a junior. But throughout our entire high school career at Osborne, we had the same high school counselor. And that counselor probably wouldn't even know us if we ran into him outside of the school, because we never got a chance to see him really, not that often. And so when I got to Murray Wright, the counselor got to know me real quick, knew me by name, and checked in on me. And I was a new person in a new school. I did have a cousin there. Shout out to my cousin, Sherrod Boyd, my cousin bro. Kind of helped me through the final months of that year. But that stuck with me, the way that counselor kind of helped me in that time. So fast track after high school, like I said, I'm rapping. I'm doing a few performances here and there, and not doing too much. But then my son, find out about my son getting ready to come. And so it makes me, my oldest son, Darius, getting ready to show up to the planet. So it made me rethink what I was doing with the rap and, try to do something that's more concrete so that I could provide for him. And so, I started thinking about going to school. So initially, what I was going to go to school for was to be a high school counselor. He was instrumental in kind of looking at, giving me options of what I could do at the high school. And I never realized that that's what a guidance counselor was there to do in my 3 years of experience of high school until I ran into this guy. And I was thinking about how pivotal that role is. So when I actually headed off into college, that's what I was going to do. And then I decided that, a while into it, I decided, nah, I don't want to do that. I actually want to teach. And so my initial thinking was I was going to teach English, and then, I started saying to myself, well, the East Side kind of jumps out every now and then. If you've been following the podcast, you've noticed that the East Side will jump out on me at some inconvenient times, and the English is not the most correct English, And so I knew that about myself, and I said, well, I don't think I would be able to hold students to the standard that I would want to hold them to, because I can't do it myself.
Yeah, yes, he could. Yes, he probably could, because he corrected my English all the time and my typos and all the other stuff that I'm doing. So yes, he could have done that. But continue. I digress.
Yeah, I think I'm good if I'm sitting there looking at it. It's another thing when you're in the moment of it, and we're surrounded, you and I, Shawn, with people that are excellent English teachers.
Oh yeah.
And they don't only do they teach it well, but they speak it well. So, no, I think I did the right thing. And the draw to me was history. Always been drawn to history anyway, as a rapper. And then, as a rapper, I always felt like when I was rapping, I was about teaching. So, all of those ideas kind of converged, and that's how I ended up getting into, teaching as a history teacher. So that's the Cliff Notes version of how, I got into education. And like my boy Shawn would say, you have to get the rest in the book.
Oh yeah. That was exactly what I'm about to say. I said it would be in his book on bookstores and bookshelves and ... when he gonna finish it. But yes.
All right. So let's move into the creators conversation. It kind of follows along the line of what we were talking about. I thought about this a couple of days ago, but we're people that like to be inspired, and we look for things that are inspirational. And so I thought, this would be a good conversation for us about, where do you find inspiration? So let's go at Square. Give us something.
I find inspiration everywhere, but I'm actually going to talk about a location where it comes more fluently.
Okay.
It was church. It was something about being, especially the last few years, shout out to Family Victory Fellowship in Southfield, Michigan. There was something about when I was there, I was inspired. I had all types of ideas. I don't even know if I have it with me now. I just had it a few seconds ago. Oh yeah, here you go. I'm a Snoopy fan, and I'm a Franklin fan. I'll talk about Franklin a little bit later. I have my books like this, and what I was doing was when I was sitting there or waiting between services and things like that, I get these ideas. The concept of dripping in black came out of that. Some professional developments, the things that I was doing came out of that. And also, that's even before the word. And then, of course, when I got the word, sometimes that was validation of what I was thinking or gave me some more ideas. In fact, one of the professional developments that I developed, although COVID shut it down, is I was working with the church, and our pastor had this great idea. And he was having us go through that. He was having these boxes, put these things, I'll call them pivotal moments in your life that, or the skill set that you had and stuff like that. And I sat back and looked at it, because remember, my theme is I'm about to forget it now. I create masterpieces. I synthesize thoughts and create masterpieces. So I was listening to this idea. So I came up to him and said, man, you need to sell this, man. You can do it this way. We can set it up like this. We got this. If you give me permission, I'll do it. Then you can just sign off on it, because it was that big of idea. So so when I get inspired, it's everywhere. But I know one place, that church, I got a lot of ideas. And in fact, I got so inundated at church that I used to take my book, that I used to take my notes in church, and I inverted it. I go backwards. So if I had ideas that wasn't related to the word, I would write them down there, and then I'll develop them later and put them in another book. Because Hammond, our mentor, whatever is not written down is a wish. So I'll start writing this stuff down and put it in there. So church was one of the biggest inspirations. Another place, and I'm really talking about the places that I get inspired because I could sit down, I'm really thinking, is my walk now. In fact, the walk has, I walk every morning for around an hour now. I was outside until I found out the mall was back open. So I said, man, it's too cold. I'll do my mall walks with the older folks. But it's on that walk because I think what those two places have in common is that I do take time to pray. And the other thing I've been added is giving Thanksgiving. And that's what inspired me. So when I'm there, I'm using my voice recorder. So man, this is an idea. This is a good meme. This is a good idea to do this. So those are the things that inspire me. But I get inspiration from talk. Well, the other one, the biggest one, probably is talking to folks. I love to hear people's dreams and what they would like to do or what they're trying to do. And say, oh man, if you put that in this, I like to put the sauce on it. You got the idea. Let me put the sauce. Can you put that? Yes, that'd be tight. So that's where a lot of my inspiration comes from. But I did spend the time to talk about places, because those were the places, and I miss church. Being in the edifice. But I'm still, the walk has, took some of that slack up as far as being inspired and getting into my thoughts and giving birth to some of these thoughts.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's a great take on it. And I too, like you, am very inspired from a variety of places. I think it's not by accident. I think I'm somebody that's always looking for something that's inspiring. And, I don't spend a lot of time with stuff that's not, so I see it kind of everywhere, but, we're not going to talk about everywhere for the purposes of time here.
Right.
So, what I have down is a couple of things. I find myself really inspired by, people who have been like in the public eye, been successful in the public eye in one capacity. Their career has reached a peak, and then they subsided a little bit, and they reinvent themselves and manage to stay relevant. I think I see a lot of this happen with hip hop artists. And so I don't know what it is about that, but it's very inspiring, so to name a few would be like, I think about Nas, of course. I'm gonna bring up Nas. Nas is my guy. Just the successful longevity of his career, but all the other things that he's doing in terms of venture capital, and now he has his own label, and just continuing to reinvent himself. That's very inspirational. I go back to the days of Queen Latifah when she was rapping, and Queen Latifah has, went from rapping to acting to talk show to acting to,
Right.
she's everywhere. MC Light, one of my favorites from way back. You know, dope MC, and now she's doing all kind of things. You know, behind the scenes, you hear her voiceover, a lot of stuff. She does a lot of stuff with BT. So I find inspiration in folks like that. I'm gonna drop Ti in there as well. You know, I know we're at the time where some controversy is brewing up, and that'll settle itself out. But you know, I'd be lying to say if I wasn't inspired to see what he's doing with his expeditiously podcast. I check that out on occasion, and I get inspired by the people he has on and the way he goes about, you know, bringing those people in and having conversation. So that's one thing. And then a major source, you know, since we started this podcast, is for me, it's the guest.
Oh
The guest
yeah.
Man, the guests that we get on, you know, some of them we know their stories, you know, a portion of their stories, I would say, but something that's always revealed in the course of the recording that makes me say, wow, you know. So just, and I don't want to start naming names, but almost every episode I'm inspired. And this is going to be the 20th episode that we drop, right? And you put in 4 creators drips in there, so it's been 16 people that we've interviewed that we've dropped to this point, and each one of them I found inspirations in their story. I find them all inspirational in their own regard. So I would list those 2 places as where I find inspiration.
Definitely use that, and you also got to remember, you all have seen 19 of them. We still got some that they ain't been released yet that will be released coming soon. So we get excited because we have seen them. Well, at least we know the story, and we're putting together the story. So yeah, that's definitely it. Because I'll talk a little bit about the last one as we coming up to some other things in this podcast. But yes, definitely, that's one of the reasons for the podcast was. Not necessarily to inspire me, you know, it's to tell that story. And if you're telling that story, you can't help but to be inspired. So that's what it's
change the narrative about, you know, and I haven't really found the right words I want to say to express what I mean by that, you know, but we're doing excellent things as a people, and it's just not showcased enough. And so this podcast is dedicated specifically for that purpose. You know, there's no nonsense on here. You know, there's no buffoonery on here. And I'm not knocking anybody that's into that. You know, I might be into that as well at the moment. So it's not a knock. Right. But this platform is designed to broadcast and highlight and showcase Black excellence every time we pop an episode out. So, you know, and I'm proud of that. And, you know, it's a definitely a reciprocity in action, because we get the guest on, and the guests are very inspirational, not just to our audience, but to us as well. So that's mine. All right. So we'll close out the creators conversation there. You know, what popped in my mind at Square was this might be a good time for our listeners and our viewers, you know, if you have somebody in mind that you know is Black excellence, reach out to us. We will bring them on to the podcast. You know, we're about celebrating Black excellence in all walks of life and showcasing that across the world. That's our mission. So feel free to reach out to Shawn Smith or myself, David V. Lewis, the Dripping in Black podcast. Anybody that you have in mind, we'll do it. We'll take it from there to try to get them on. Square, you want to add anything there?
Yes, like I said, we'll give the social media platform, but we own all the major platforms, and you could DM us, you can email us at support@dibk20.com. Well, however you want to get us to us, you know, send us smoke signals. We'll find it and use it to because that's what we're about. It ain't no judgment here and things like that. It's about, if you about Black excellence, you know, we can use it, and we want you to tell your story. We're not using your story to make us puffed up and stuff. No, we want you to tell your story. That's you know, as educator, that's what our foremost thing is to inform whoever our audience is, or whoever our students are, or however you want to call it. You know, to let them know that there's some people out there, especially with, you know, I wish you all would share these with the kids as well, because they need to see this representation. And we are going out to give you people that might not even be in the traditional sense, you know. You know, we're going to talk about some first today as well. And it's first in 2021, not in 1895 or anything like this. This is 2021. We're still having first to do things. So yeah, we want to tell those stories. And that when we know they out there, but but that gets pushed back because, you know, people want to deal with the other nonsense that don't really represent us as a whole.
Yeah. So that's a perfect segue, I think, to our next segment, in which we celebrate something from the previous month. We call that the drip of the month. All right. So in this case, the month was January 2021. And so we have a drip of the month from both creators. S Squared, you want to go first?
I will go first. Now, I cheat a little bit. I'll let y'all know I cheat a little bit. I don't necessarily do month. It's what inspires me for that month. And to tell a little story,
it's not cheating.
It is. It's I had to look at it. I try to look at themes. And my theme this month was, I looked at first. And the reason why I looked at first was because we just put together and would put together Dr. Spradlin's episode, and her being the first Division I Black female band director. And when I was editing this, I was saying, man, this is the first. Man, this is the first.
Right.
Out of all the United States, this is the first. And she on our podcast. Do y'all know how big this is? So I'm going up there and looking for stuff, and it was hard to find stuff. Now, her official position didn't start until this past semester, fall semester, because she moved on to Penn State. But that was big to me. And I kept that theme because she was going to be one. I had one that we both agreed to, and I said, "Well, let me try something. I'll try something else." I should have kept that one and let him try something else. But I got to the theme.
You could have, because I had a couple of them.
He had a couple of them, and I did not. And I did not. And I was thinking about theme. So I said, what moved me this month? That's what moved me, was putting together Dr. Spradlin's video. So I went to go see some first. And I also went for female first, because we got a female first, right? Black vice president. That was kind of too easy for me. So so I said, I'm not going to go there. But I did go, since the Super Bowl, we taping this the night before the Super Bowl. Since the Super Bowl, I'm going to keep it in sports. And the two people I came up with, because I want to split it, is Bianca Smith. David Lewis, do you know who Bianca Smith is?
Not by name, man. You got me.
Bianca Smith will be the first female baseball coach for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think I
so
did see that somewhere. But
right. So
okay.
that's who Bianca Smith is. So shout out to Bianca Smith. And I got another
Shout
one,
out.
Jennifer King, which is the first full-time Black female coach. She's with the Washington football team, since they don't have a name right now. So it's with the Washington football team. So shout out to those ladies, because again, my inspiration came from, because I would love to give it to Dr. Sprout. I said, I can't give it to Dr. Sprout. And that's biased, and that's my
Sure
thing.
you can.
I could have, but she inspired me to find some other ones that's doing their thing in their respective fields. And I took sports, since the Super Bowl was coming up. Always got to be theme, and it got to make sense to me, because I am a mathematician. So that's the way I went with my drip of the month. So shout out to Bianca Smith and Jennifer King. Do your thing. Be unapologetic. And it's also a bigger thing with that, with a Black female infiltrating a predominantly male roles, definitely.
Yeah.
And so, just to tell the story real quick, because this also, because we had this story with Dr. Spradlin, when she said that, when her first football game, that there was a person that came up and wanted to thank the band director, and they went to everybody but her, and they was telling this person, our band director is the Black female right there, and he did not want to believe it. He saw it and didn't want to believe it. It. And
she had it across her. She said she had.
She even had the shirt.
The titles.
She even wore the T-shirt,
but it's not unbelievable at the same time.
It's unbelievable. It's not unbelievable, because some people do not want to believe, not even their eyes. And Bianca Smith had a similar story, because she was on the field one day. She went to Dartmouth. Actually, the strings about it. Bianca Smith and Jennifer King has a connection to Dartmouth. Shout out to Dartmouth, I think. But anyway, Bianca Smith was on the field, and some guy came up and said, what do you do? Are you the trainer, or you something like that? She said, no, I'm one of the coaches. And they came up to her and said, oh, y'all gonna lose. And and that's what we deal with. And she said that fueled her. Fueled her. I might have took out a couple of bats, the east side of the yak, we might take a couple of bats and say what you think. But I digress. I'm sorry. So it's that crazy stuff, but that's what we deal with. And I could only imagine, not only dealing with the Black aspect of it, the female part too, man. Yeah. So do your thing, sisters. We definitely got to have y'all back more. And those are my drips of the month.
Yeah, dope, man. I think it's dope. I love your takes on it, man. There's no set way to do it. I think if you're inspired by it during that month, that perfectly fits. It doesn't have to necessarily be from that month, if you will. So it's the drip of the month for you. I think I'm right in the same vein. You already know where I'm headed. So my drip of the month is, and has to be, Amanda Gorman. Simply because it's the month of January, at the inaugural, inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as president and vice president, respectively. You had the kind of a routine, and it was nice to get back to a routine type of inauguration. But for me, when Amanda got up there, it changed the whole vibe, man. Just made me sit up in my seat. I was beaming with pride. She looked beautiful. She looked strong. She looked powerful. The words were relevant to the time, relevant to the future. Let me be specific about a few things. She did The Hill We Climb, an inaugural poem for the country. She's, I found out later because I didn't know anything about her, to be honest. She was introduced to me in that moment. I'm sure with many others as well, but she already had a pretty interesting story and a lot of accomplishments in her background before she got to that moment. And so I'll say just a little bit in that regard, because she could potentially be a future subject of the last drip because of her accomplishments. But first ever National Youth Poet Laureate of the United States. She got that in 2017, graduated from Harvard, and, and now she's holding down that position. So, but her performance on the inauguration was the moment for me in January 2021. So that would be my drip of the month. There is an honorable mention, and this is no offense, and I don't like when people say no offense because there's almost offense there. But I want to give an honorable mention to Kamala Harris because of the big deal of becoming the first Black vice president. That's not a small accomplishment by any means. And I was leaning towards her, knowing that the inauguration was in January. When January came across for the drip of the month, I kind of had her in the back of my mind as the drip of the month. But again, Amanda Gorman blew me away, and so she's going to be my drip of the month.
Okay. Did you see her interview on CNN? And she had Anderson Cooper just couldn't talk. He couldn't talk. And just to hear her story. Now, you have to look at that beautiful young lady up there doing her thing. The first thing the teacher in me comes out and say, man, I wish I had more students like that, and I could just sit up there and cry, and because that's what you want to see your students do.
To me, the crying in me is I've had students like that. So I see so many of my current students and former students in her. And so, I'm beaming with pride. Like I said, she was powerful in how she represented. She was beautiful. She was African, she was African-American, but she was African in her garb and her look. And, and she just was strong and a great representation, of us. So, but I think she represents a lot of my students. So I saw that as well. Yeah. So sorry for cutting you off though.
Oh, no problem. But that's those are the things, those are the images that you want to see for those younger people. Cause I know one of our, some people in our book club, said that they were looking at the feed. One of the, I don't know if it was Nickelodeon, one of those places had a feed for the kids, and to see that up on that stage like that was beautiful. So I'm with you on that. That was beautiful. And speaking of students, I already gave a couple of them. I'm gonna call them out. Inkster students, be prepared. That's all I'm going to tell you. I know I'm jumping the gun for our on deck.
Yeah, but we got a lot of work to do on that, and it's we don't even know exactly how we gonna present it. But Inkster, we coming for you. Just know that.
Just know it.
Yep. All right, so that takes us almost a perfect segue to this, which is our future. Talks about our future things and kind of educating our audience on about what's coming up next on the Dripping in Black podcast. And we call this segment Drips on Deck. All right, so that's squared. I'm gonna have you again kind of lead us off, and then I'll jump in.
Drips on deck. We just talk with the current stuff. On Tuesdays on Black History Month, remember, we have a historian in our presence. D. Lou, the educator. We don't even call him David V. Lewis on this one. This is D. Lou, the educator. In the segments Know Your History. Those are every Tuesday for Black History Month. Know Your History. So he's gonna give you some tidbits and stuff like that. One of my favorite segments that we do. So that is coming on Tuesdays. We also have this month what does Black History mean to me? We want you to interact. Shout out to the first one we got, Marsha Easley, aka my big sister. Came through and did her thing, and we want more. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have her recruit her people too. So
mine is brewing. That's squared.
If I don't get nobody else, my sister took my spot. So I have one on deck just in case. But if anybody want to beat me to it, that's fine. So those will be released as I get them. I think I did the last one on a Monday or Wednesday. I forgot which day it was, but they will come out as I get them because that's no limit on those. But I'm definitely will be working on that. So
for clarity, S squared. So what do you mean by that will come out? So people do what, and then you do what with them?
If you send me or get to me, however you need to do it, a video or audio clip of you saying what Black history means to you, we're going to put it together and make a little presentation on it. Again, if you want to go back and look at I have a playlist in YouTube just for that Black history projects. You can look up there. You can see Marsha's up there. And as we release them, that's where they will go. The D-Lou, the educators, is in there too as well, I believe. So
what the playlist is located on what
on YouTube
channel?
DIBK channel on YouTube, our channel on YouTube. So you can see those there if you just need an idea or be inspired. But what does it mean to you? And it's gonna be different. And we're gonna get, as they come, we will put them out. Got to the end of the month, so you'll see this on our next release date, the 11th. This whole month, so you still got some time. And again, send them to me or tag us or however you need to do it. The email is support. We'll put that down too, but it's support@dibk20.com. You can send it there. You can, if you know us, you could DM us, and I'll get it I'll put it together and stick it, release it. Our Black History lineup. The fourth is Dr. Spradlin. Creator's Drip is after that. Then we have Sharonda DeNice and Damian Crutcher will fill out this Black History Month. David will say more about them because we came out swinging with Black History Month. We unloading and making it strong. We're looking at trailblazers. Like I said, Spradlin was the first ever Division I band director. We're looking at people that's making these moves. I've called it the Trailblazer edition. So that's what we're releasing in February. There will be a small break in March. The second week in March, we'll give you something. We don't know what it is yet, but it won't be a new episode. But
it's gonna be excellent though.
It's gonna be excellent. So we're gonna do something. And on deck, hopefully, our much needed help is coming. We have a partnership with Dave Baker Creative Group, and our help is coming. We've hired someone to help us out, and we're all about education and education opportunities, and this is our first. So this will be coming toward the middle of this month, and hopefully you'll see a difference. Say, oh wow, they doing stuff like this. Yes, yes. Because
Yeah,
we
we
got
got
some
an
more
intern
help.
coming.
We got some more help coming. So, um, David, did you want to talk a little bit more about the lineup?
Yeah, drips on deck. So thank you, S Squared. That breaks down what's coming up for the Dripping in Black podcast. And I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the Black History Month lineup. And, I'll take credit for it, but this was really Shawn's doing. And, we've talked on several occasions that the episodes don't necessarily fall in order of the way we've recorded them. So we have people that we've recorded, and then they may not be dropped until months later. And if you're watching closely, you can probably tell in some regards, because things change along the way in terms of the production. But Shawn had this idea about making Black History Month this lineup of trailblazers, and the people that we've been talking to, and like Shawn mentioned earlier, we get excited about people that we've talked to, and people that we've shared with you all to this point, but there's people that we have lined up to share with you, and we just get excited about what we're getting ready to share with the world. But Dr. Tanya Mitchell Spradlin, when we got her on, we knew we had somebody special there. And we've said it already on several occasions, but I just think she's a rising superstar. And she has a fantastic future in front of her, and it's just so exciting for us in our first year of the podcast to get somebody like that on, followed by us. And then next week we got Sharonda Denise.
It's not Denise. It's nice. That's how she told me to pronounce it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess you're correcting me on that. But she's coming up a week after we drop. And I'm telling you, we have a phenomenal story to share with you regarding her. I'll just give you this bit. She does Christian fiction. And I don't know how many people heard of that, but we talk quite a bit about that and what she does, and I'll leave it there. And then followed up by the one and only Damian Crutcher. And if you don't know Damian Crutcher, Google him. But he's going to close out our Trailblazer episodes for the Black History Month lineup. So that's our drips on deck. S Square, you got any closing thoughts with that?
Other than like I said, there's still some in the popper and all ready to come out. We try to be intentional on how we release them. We try not to have too many male, females, or the same genre or stuff like that. We try to mix it up as well. So, it's not just which ones we like the best and we release them. No, that's definitely not it. We everybody got their story.
They all good.
And everybody will get their story told, but we try to stagger them strategically, and by topics and things like that. We've had two real estate. You didn't want two real estate back to back, so we had to we maneuvered those and things like that, and we try to make it just keep hitting you. When you're expecting a right, we're gonna give you a left uppercut, because we coming at you. And David asked me earlier, February, I wanted to unload all the things that we have learned, all the techniques from interviewing to editing and stuff like that. We want to just unload. I wanted to unload so I could take a break and then come back and unload on you some more. So we always about grow, change, and developing. So that's what we do. And hopefully you're growing, changing, and developing with us. We'd love to hear from you. Drop us a DM, respond to when we doing our posts and stuff like that, you know. So we'll give you the
subscribe.
Subscribe. And we got one other thing that we're going to be boosting is write reviews, because reviews are the thing that pushes us up in the algorithm of all the platforms we own, whether you listening to iTunes or Google Play or wherever you listening to us at, you know, write a review. And hopefully it's 5 stars, because we want to be moved up in the queue, not down in the queue. So if I need to say that, I'll be more specific. Give us a 5-star rating, whatever you listen to us on, and because that moves us up in the queues, and more people can get to it. Like I said, we coming to hit you hard. Like I said, to the point that we had to go get us some help to do some of this stuff, because, you know, we do teach, we still got classes, and we don't shortchange our 9 to 5 to get to our 5 to 9. But everything we do is in Black excellence.
Dripping in black.
It's dripping in black. That's where it came from. So that's the spirit.
Perfect place for us to close out. We've talked quite a bit, talked people's ear off, but I think the conversation has been great.
And I hope you've been inspired.
Give you a chance to do some.
We're trying to
give you a chance to give some shout outs, S Squared.
Well, I gave a shout out, like I say, Dave Baker is coming through with our intern. Oh, you also know in our celebration, I always try to do something or wear or have something that celebrate Black excellence, or a Black business or something like this. We bought this shirt from Black Business. I got my Blacknificent shirt on. So I always try to do those things. So even if you have a business that you want me to buy a t-shirt or a mug or something, I would do that just to support you, because that's what we do. I can't just, again, Black excellence. Like I say, shout out to Dave Baker, of course, because like I say, she's helping us with our intern and training them and stuff like that, because she's a marketing person, good person to get into if you need some marketing advice and things like that. That's kind of, I'll shout out, although by the time this come out, this will be, it'll be past, but happy birthday to my youngest. We recorded on his birthday. The big 21. Wow. So both of them are grown, and Daddy is going to party like it's 2099.
Like it's his birthday.
Like it's my birthday, because they are grownish. I call them they grownish still, but much love to Von Smith. And his brother gave a great post for him, and he wouldn't let me share it. I hope it's shared by the time I'm offline.
Mm-hmm. All right. One more thing for me, S Square, before I do my shout outs. Can you drop the social media contacts for us?
Social media. Yes. On Facebook and Instagram, it is DIBK20. DIBK20. I'll put some graphics on there so you can see them. On Twitter, it's the same thing, DIBK20. I keep forgetting that because they let me change it afterwards. And the website is drippinginblack.com. Can't get no easier than that. drippinginblack.com.
Yeah. And then for me,
the YouTube is DIBK channel. DIBK channel.
Yeah. So DIBK is short for Dripping in Black. So whenever you see DIBK, that's what that means. My personal Facebook is David V. Lewis Facebook. So just check me out. Send me a friend request. And, let's expand, get more people on to celebrate Black excellence. My shout outs are very simple. Black Lit Matters. Always got to shout them out. They're a source of inspiration. We've quoted this young man a couple of times in this episode, so we better shout him out. Our, collective mentor, Jimmy Hammond. Shout out to him.
Two shoes.
Po boy from the ghetto.
Oh yeah. We could do a whole podcast on just his sayings alone. His sayings alone.
Yeah. Don't give him nothing, because that's something that's coming. All right. Shout out to my sons. My oldest son will be turning 30 this month on Valentine's Day. Shout out to Darius D. Lewis. And shout out to my youngest son, Amari D. Lewis. All right. Shout out to him. He's 21. And so that's it. I'll leave you with what I always say. It's always a great day to be good, be good, be good. That's squared.
Oh, and of course, be well and much, as the Smith men will say, mucho love.
You have just experienced a Dripping in Black production.